Welcome all to this new international discussion prepared by the volunteers of the Creative Society project. Today, we continue raising the information that has been presented during this unprecedented international online forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, which took place on May 7, 2022. This event has been broadcasted in thousands of different platforms to raise as many awareness as possible towards people, and also translated in more than 100 languages in order to really reach as many people as we can. So we are very pleased to be able to elaborate into the information that has been raised today with our guests.
Dear guests and viewers, we continue our international discussions and the series of these discussions today. Our guests today are Sina, a student from Afghanistan. Hello. Tatyana Novik, participant of the Creative Society project from Portugal.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. And Razvan Onishka, independent researcher from Romania. Hello.
Hello.
So as we continue to discuss what actually was shown and discussed on the forum that occurred on May 7th, I suggest that we watch a short video extract from the conference just to give us an overview. What was it about? Why it is so important that we do discuss it on and on after the forum as well. So if I can have the technical team to show us the video.
Greetings. I would like to welcome everyone to this unprecedented international online forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live. Thanks to the millions of volunteers from around the world, this event right now is simultaneously interpreted into 100 languages and streamed live to thousands of media channels and platforms in over 180 countries. Multiple vital topics will be presented today that concern every single person in our society. Some might be difficult to watch to the point of unbearable at times. But if you fail to hear the truth now, tomorrow may be too late. The vital information and facts we are about to present will not be covered by the mainstream media. This forum is created for the people, by the Creative Society volunteers from around the world, because we are confident that if every single person understands that there is only one real enemy, climate, we have a chance not only to win the last war, but also to come out of these times with maximum benefit to ourselves and future generations. Throughout this forum, you will learn about the Creative Society format and why it is our only solution. We will show what a deceitful, dead-end, inhumane format of society we live in now, and why all attempts in the current consumer society to make any positive changes were unsuccessful. You will come to an understanding about how critical the climate crisis is and why we need to take immediate action towards the Creative Society. Each word that you will hear today has a deep meaning. All the information and facts have been carefully collected and cross-checked by numerous people around the world. This event is the product of months of hard work of volunteers, each driven by the desire to live. It took millions of people to bring this information to you. Now it's up to you to make sure this information reaches the 8 billion people on this planet. The future depends on the actions of every single person today.
As we just heard, this information is vital. And as it has been said also, this information is not an information that you find everywhere. It's usually being not very praised by many people, as it can really actually help people to really wake up to the really current situation. So very important to actually, during those internal discussions, being able to talk a little bit more and hear from our guests directly. So my first question will go to Ali, and watching this forum, we would like to know what is the part of this forum that really touched you the most? What information was new for you? Can you tell us more?
I think about this forum that it's too important, and we should know about this crisis, and the people should unite together and do something for our world, and it will be too great. And if we don't pay attention to our problems and like this program that we are people, we want to live, it's the biggest program, and as I know, it's great, and we should continue with this. And the forum also like this, we can say everyone and all the people should be unite and team together and say something about those points. And as I know today, as Afghan boy, I want to say that we should try our best and try a lot to do something and to make sure ourselves that our world is not in danger, and we can do something for our world. And all the people should come and be united to think about our world. And if today we don't think, and if today we don't pay attention to this kinds of problem, more we can solve that. And also, as Afghan boy, I want to say I can understand about this creative society, that we can share our voice by creative society. And when we see in our country or in any other country, we have all the people have problem, but all the people should come together and be united and think about their country. As Afghan boy, I can understand the meaning of war and violence in my country, Afghanistan. Every single day, we have different kinds of problems, such war and terrorism. But I can understand one thing is too important in the world, that all the people, most of the people don't want to pay attention about their country. Just they think about their self benefit, and they want to say about their self benefit, and they will not think about their world. And as all the people had mentioned, that we should our world, and we should make fight, and we can do something for our world, not for our self benefit and just for one country. We should try our best to do for the world, not for one country. And thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ali. I totally agree with you what you just said, that basically we should all strive how together we can prevent wars, and also how to evolve as humanity, because we can do that only together and not by each individuals. Tatyana, perhaps you would like to share with us your insights or your thoughts, what actually touched you the most on the forum when you watched it, and when you what was actually the point that clinged to you?
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm so happy that I'm today with you. And yes, I watched the forum. Even more, I translated this forum to Turkish language, simultaneous translation. So, and subject with what touched me most, there was so many shocked information, as you told, and it is problem of all humanity right now, that it's all touching everyone right now in this planet, and we have to do something about this. For example, I didn't know about CO2, how anthropogenic factors, how the fashion industry that they are throwing the new clothes, in the other part of the planet, people are having problems, and in another part of the side of the planet, in another side of the planet, we are just throwing the, new clothes, new cars, and food that, is not even arriving to the stores, to shelves. And so many people are just starving from hunger. And these subjects are really very important, and it really touched me. And about technologies, that we have so many technologies, I didn't even know about vertical firms that can provide so many people. Those technology can really solve all our problems right now, and this is really it shocked me. And thanks for this forum, thanks for all people who did this forum. I learned so many things. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatyana. And I mean, you say very right. There is a lot of information in this forum. I mean, it's an 11 hours forum, but it's great to finally have so much information together, because we understand that there is so many different facets of this situation. There is so many different issues, and some people might know some of them and thinking that they know everything about the situation. But when you look at the forum, you can really connect the dots. You can really see the big pictures, and you can really start thinking by yourself on what needs to be done. Not somebody will tell you what to do, but you can actually comprehend and start thinking on your own. So that's very important. So thank you very much for these comments on the so many information that we all learned during this forum. My next question to Razman, and similar question, I have to say, regarding the forum, what is a topic that really touched you the most?
Hello again, and thank you for having me. Well, I have to say that indeed, I have to agree with you. The forum, the information packed in there for like 11 hours is a lot of information. And, at first, I thought to myself that I would never be able to go through all this information. But then I turned on the videos, like watching 1 hour every day while going back and forth to work, because I have to travel a pretty long distance to work. So I cover pretty much the entire forum. And there are a few, like, what shocked me at first was like the magnitude of the issue that we as a creative society are trying to solve, and coming from a civilian perspective and not from an authoritarian one, like not coming from the government. This pretty much shocked me, and I became intrigued of how the creative society intends to solve all these problems. And then of course there were some pretty beautiful things that you touched on, like the consumeristic society that we are part on today, and the amount of pollution that consumerism and the way consumerism does, and the waste of so many vital resources, especially when in some parts of the world there is trouble with hunger, and we in the West, like the consumer society is throwing so much food. And as Tatyana pointed out, the vertical farms that can provide solution to everybody who's suffering from hunger and this stuff. So the most shocking thing was the initiative coming from civilians, and the fact that you guys, like the creative society, wants to move this forward into the politic and to propose a referendum, I think, on these issues that are pretty much vital for us as a society, and for us as a collective of civilians, because nowadays, as you guys know, in most of the world, we are divided. The notion of the family, the notion of community is being shred apart, and this is because the powers that be, they want us to be fighting on our own, and when we are on our own, we are disempowered. But as a community worldwide, like Creative Society, as people all over the world, we can regain the power, and we can have tremendous impact even on a political level. So the challenging nature of Creative Society mission is what triggered me to take part in it and to discover more about the plan of how you guys are trying to do this. And I was pretty much impressed, and that's why I'm here with you today to learn and share more information for people to to understand not only the implications of the problem, but also the solutions and the potential that we have as a community.
Thank you very much for your answer, and thank you very much for really re-emphasizing this forum. It's not just about our misfortune at the moment and the cataclysm, the pollution, and the problem that we're going through. It's even maybe mostly about the solution and what is the Creative Society, what is the plan implementing the Creative Society. So thank you very much for re-emphasizing on that part, because it's a crucial part of our future and where we are here today to talk about. To go maybe a little bit deeper into some specific topic that also you've raised concerning the consumer format of society, we wanted to watch a second extract of the forum. If you think about it, as of today, money is the energy of this consumer format of society, where it's put first. Money is put first compared to actually even human life. And human life, when you think about it, it's very the last concern that you can think of in a consumer format of society. So in this consumer format of society, we end up to the point where even charity sounds positive and helpful. But in this format of society, it managed to even turn this charity upside down and become just another money-making machine for a few of the people on Earth. So we wanted to talk a little bit more about this and bringing the discussion forward. So let's watch a video illustrating this situation regarding Charity Fund.
Perhaps you may think it will never happen to you. While those people have been given all the help they needed and they are now safe. And indeed, there is now a huge number of organizations and foundations dedicated to helping people. The largest of them, the United Nations, is positioning itself as the guarantor of peace and security of humankind. For decades, we have been hearing beautiful slogans and promises from high rostrums. If you listen to these loud statements, it may seem that we will solve all our problems. There will be no more poverty, no more hunger, no more wars, and we will all live well. After all, there are over 100 international organizations working under the aegis of the United Nations to solve the world's problems. For every new problem, a new organization is created. Every year, UN member states pay huge contributions to these organizations. In fact, this is money from our pockets. These are the taxes we pay to the state. Between 2010 and 2020, according to official data, the 44 UN organizations alone raised $540.4 billion. contributions to the UN organizations have increased by 58% over 10 years. But let's take a look at what we have achieved over this period of time. The largest amount of money today goes to solving the problem of hunger. The main UN organizations to tackle this problem are the World Food Program, WFP, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. They have raised $79.8 billion over the last 10 years. Current estimates are that almost 690 million people are hungry in the world and 750 million people are severely food insecure. The Food and Agriculture Organization itself predicts an even greater increase in hunger by 2030. 841 million people. So, the World Food Program is projecting funding needs for 2022 already at $13.9 billion. So they say, there will be more hungry people, so they need more money. It is a legitimate question. How is it that, with ever-increasing funding, the problem itself is only becoming worse? Let's look at another problem, the refugee problem. The number of refugees has doubled over the past 10 years, comprising 82.4 million in 2020. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, deals with refugee issues. Over the past 10 years, funding for the organization has increased by 56%, reaching $4.8 billion in 2020. Let's look at what kind of help they provide to people. One area of refugee assistance is shelter. On their website, they state, "The main part of our protection mission is to guarantee access to proper shelter in humanitarian emergencies. We provide tents, distribute plastic sheeting, and develop strategies, tools, and guidance in emergency situations, and provide emergency assistance to those who need it most. On cold nights or hot days, our help can be the deciding factor between life and death. In an emergency, tarpaulin tents are an adequate short-term measure, but people live in such tent camps for years in inhumane conditions with no hope of the future. Due to the lack of even basic sanitation conditions, people die of infectious diseases. Who benefits from the problem not being solved? As long as there is a problem, there is funding. And if the problem is solved, there will be no funding and therefore no organizations. As long as there is a financial interest, as long as someone makes money from it, no one will solve the problem. The UN itself is very much like a transnational corporation in its structure. There is a parent company that coordinates and manages the activities of its other companies, but each brand is a separate business entity. In 2020, more than $3.7 billion was spent to maintain the UN bureaucracy on staff and director salaries, health insurance, holidays, business class flights, and other expenses. The planned expenditures for the renovation of the Palace of Nations alone in Switzerland, where the UN headquarters is located, is $871 million. With this money, 174,000 houses could be built using 3D printing technology. How many refugee families could benefit from this housing? But alas, building homes for those in need is not a priority for their aid. What do we have in the end? Numerous organizations that we have entrusted with the responsibility of solving serious problems of humanity turn out, on closer examination, to be merely business structures. It becomes obvious that there is a direct interest in the growth and aggravation of problems. In other words, it is beneficial for someone that people starve, struggle to survive, and make wars with each other. And that is the cynicism of the consumerist format of society, Creating the illusion of solving a problem without the real goal of eradicating it is a principle of the consumerist format. Under such conditions, it is tantamount to anesthesia for a fatal illness. And even closing or reforming some organizations or firing some individuals will not save the situation, because new ones will come in their place and do the same thing, making money off our lives. Today, because of our tacit support for the consumerist format, we are all on the precipice. The rapid escalation of all crises will soon bring us all, without exception, to the brink of disaster. What kind of help will we get? A piece of tarpaulin for shelter and a couple of bottles of water?
Yes, dear viewers, as you were able to see, we're spending billions of dollars each year on so-called solving the problems. And one would expect that they would be already a history, but the reality is actually different. It's getting worse and worse. So maybe we are making a mistake somewhere. Tatyana, as you were supporting the preparation of the forum, conducting interviews, what did you uncover during this process talking to the refugees? What was their perception on the help that was provided to them?
Thank you, Robert. Yes, I was talking, while preparing the forum, I was talking with refugees, with people who had climatic disasters. So they were saying that they don't have any help. And refugees were saying that, they don't have rights. They don't have right to work. They don't have right to, to cross the country or go out of this country where they come. And so many of them didn't have, help. They are coming to the border of another country and they are just turning them back. And more important, physical violence, sexual violence, they have faced all those stuff. And it shocked me because, whenever I was talking and joining these interviews, I was always, it is really heavy information. It is very heavy to hear how people are suffering, because they don't have enough food, they don't have water, they were eating grass, land, I don't know. And it is just to cheat their stomach. They were saying that we are doing this to cheat our stomach. And, it is very heavy to hear. And I know that I'm living in a good condition right now, but I don't have any guarantee that, tomorrow I will have such condition still, So this is why I'm joining the Creative Society project. I'm joining to you guys, to all people who wants, peace in our world, who wants to live, who wants, proper conditions, So this is what I also want. And not only for myself, I want this for all people, because I'm seeing how people are suffering. And I don't want to go out and, if something happened in this country or in any other country where I am right now. So I know that the same stuff will, is waiting for me. So, and I don't, I just want, these problems to be solved. So this is why I'm joining. This is why I want the peace in the world. So thank you.
Thank you, Tatyana, for your answer. And you're very right, and you are able to speak from a first-hand experience, talking to those people themselves, that the funding, the help that many organizations, more than like hundreds of organizations, are claiming to bring to them, it's actually not happening. Either it's for refugee after a cataclysm, either it's for refugee after a war. There is a lot of those people in needs that do not have the help that is needed, either to dress themselves, to just live in a house, or to be educated. And to be able to move forward, because it's not just solving the problem of a catastrophe, but how you're going to move forward in your life after such an event, and how we're going to support people to do so. If the consumer format of society it's focusing on money and not human being, yes, those human beings cannot expect such a great future. Talking about education, that's the future of the new generation. The way they are educated will determine the way they will be able to drive the future society. So I wanted to ask a question to Ali, currently a student. We heard that the UN, for instance, is spending a lot of money on bringing help, education to some countries, but in reality, it's not very successful. You are currently living in Afghanistan. Can you tell us more about the view that you have on how education is being brought to the youth of your country, and if there is challenges here?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Always UN say, United Nations will say that we will do this and we will do that, but they will say it, but they will not take action, and they are not paying attention to those kinds of problems. And as we know, all the people today are trying to do something, and we can do something for our people, that we can inform by creative society the people to how we can do something for our life, and not just we think about this. Yeah, I'm from Afghanistan or this from Canada. This no man. We should do something for humanity, and we should inform the people. Creative society will say and share our voice with everyone, that all the people should aware and inform about that. And as I know, UN always say something, but they will not take action. Instead of that, ourselves should pay attention to that. We can do this, and we can change our world in any situation, from any bad condition. We can do it. And if we say no, it's not belongs to me, it belongs to another one, or we should if we say that we cannot do it, it means we accept that we can't do that. But if we say that yes, you are able to do something, and without you, United Nations, we can do something. After that, we can stand up and we can do something for our world. But if we say that accept that we can't do something, that will happen. And if we say yeah, we are able to do something, after that, no one can stop us. If the people come together and join together, we can do anything that we want. And by creative society, not that we say about waiting for United Nations will do this and solve our problem, or the biggest problem is climate change. That the people will not pay attention to that. Also, the United Nations don't pay attention to that. Just they are saying we'll do this, we'll do this, and we will do that. But again, we say they are saying, but they will not act, or they will not show their action that you are doing that. And most of the time, when I see something, and when I heard some of the news, and as she said before, that she was right, and she said that most of the people are trying to do something for their world, and they can do, and they can achieve that. And as I know, in Afghanistan or in any other country, that the people, most of the people are thinking about their self-benefit. They are not things about that if today we don't take action for this problem, tomorrow is too late, and we can't solve that in our world. And always remember one thing, that if today you don't do that, tomorrow, one day, well, unfortunate about that, and you will say, yeah, well, that was the time that I should do that. But again and again, you will unfortunate about your life, and unfortunate about your wasting time. And as I know this much, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Ali. Yes, we as people can do a lot. And also, for example, when I was watching the video about the funding and about the organizations, it's really weird that we should have also the education at the same level anywhere on the world, regardless whether it's Australia, whether it's India, whether it's Brazil, United States. So when you are, let's say, moving from one country to another because of job or because of something else, you don't have to think about, oh, where will my kids go to school? Because they would be same level exactly anywhere and free of charge for everybody. That's most important because kids are our future. Also, Razman, I have a quick question for you as well, because I know that you did a lot of research on your own and basically you watched the forum, not just like a viewer, but like a researcher. And just like our scientists, you found an explanation what happens to our planet right now. Could you please share with our viewers shortly and what actually, to your mind, we people can do in this situation?
Sure. This used to be a pretty sensitive topic until recently. This kind of information was kind of kept under the rug, but now it's coming out in the open, and researchers and people all over the world are not afraid to talk about this anymore, so it's not a taboo subject. So there's been a recent archaeological discovery at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, where they found what they consider to be the oldest settlement in the world. So it's roughly 12,000 years old. So it's like 5,000 years older than the previously the previous settlement that was considered to be the oldest. And what this does, like coupled with the data that scientists have gathered over the years, with the retracement of icebergs, of ice, with the heating of some areas and the drying of some lakes. What they discovered there at the temple was that the people there recorded in stone an event that was a really powerful event. It kind of separated the old world from the new world that was to come. In other words, they spoke about in stone what scientists believe to have been a cataclysm. That's related to some many factors, and now there are researchers Randall Carson, that's a really good, he's a professor in the US, I don't remember exactly where, that's speaking about this. So they coined the term the Younger Dryas event. So this is a huge cataclysm that occurred like roughly 12,000 years ago that scientists now believe it's going to occur again. So they're talking about cyclicity in cataclysms, that are occurring on Earth, and now they believe this is happening like every 12,000 years or so. Do we have some facts about this? Yeah, of course we have some facts. So of course you guys have seen. So the first most important thing is that the magnetic poles are shifting. They're moving. They're moving at an average rate of about 50 kilometers or 30 miles each year. So this has been intensifying. I have here a quote from Ciaran Began of the British Geological Survey in Edinburgh. He said that the poles are moving at about 50 kilometers a year. It didn't move much between the 90s until 1980, but it's really accelerated in the past 40 years. So we have the poles that are, they're moving much faster than before. And what this does, it comes with a series of climatic changes. Like you have seen, everybody has seen the fires in the Siberian region. Okay, so Siberia, it's a vast unpopulated region. In Russia, it's close to the North Poles, and there have been temperatures there that haven't been recorded since in our modern history. And what this causes is it destabilizes the planet. Like while the temperatures there have risen, the temperatures over Europe have fallen. So we recorded we had record low temperatures in Europe. While I'm going to quote again from the telegraph.co.uk, in relative terms, that's 30 degrees Celsius or 54 Fahrenheit temperature anomaly at the North Pole. This is associated with a warm air intrusion from the Atlantic and displacement of cold air onto Asia, following large-scale disturbances to the polar jet stream. And this is pretty much correlated to the things being discussed in the forum. Like we've seen that the ocean's temperatures are also increasing due to increased volcanism. So this is what's causing a series of immense tropical storms. So they're raging. They're more powerful than ever, as we can see in the forum. And it's also causing harm in this part of the world, like in Siberia and Europe and in Asia and pretty much everywhere. So the thing is, the people who have access to information, regardless of the sources, like let's take, for example, the wealthy, they are preparing. Like we in the world have things called the doomsday vaults. If you don't know what this is, these are these are seed banks. So there are basically over 930,000 varieties of food crops that are stored within these doomsday vaults. They rely on strategic positions. Like one of the biggest one is close to the Arctic Circle between Norway and the North Pole. You might ask why is it strategic there? It's freezing, but it's freezing now. But with the poles moving and with the climatic changes in Norway, and the North Pole will melt. The North Pole, contrary to Antarctica, that's a continent. The North Pole is a series of islands, of frozen islands that made of ice, entirely of ice. So there's no foundation there, So with the poles moving, the North Pole will melt, and in Norway there will be, a pleasant climate, and it's going to wreak havoc in the rest of the world. Like in the past, like we have these changes occur cyclically. Like we know from the past that in Antarctica, that's now frozen and inhospitable and it doesn't host any kind of life, there used to be a tropical paradise. So when the poles moved in the past, some other regions of the world used to be covered by ice. The poles used to be in a different spot, and Antarctica is like what is today, say, Australia, or New Zealand. And the rich, they know about this. They have seed vaults everywhere, and they're also buying land. They're buying land massively in Australia and New Zealand because they have, the data that a continent the continent that's now submerged, like the landmass, is going to rise. It's going to form a continent. So Australia will join New Zealand through a land bridge and all this stuff. So it's really a strategic place to do so. So people who are buying there, who are buying land there and investing massively, are guys like Bill Gates, that everybody knows, Mark Zuckerberg, and Peter Thiel, like the co-founder of PayPal. They've invested massively there. And what's really surprising, where are they getting this data? Well, I mentioned Randall Carlson. So before him, there were some other reputed climatologists that, before the Younger Dryas theory was accepted in the scientific circles, these guys, received the critics. Although they were recognized because of the accuracy of their data, whenever they did something, that challenged the established paradigm, they would be ridiculed. And there was this book classified by the CIA, a book called The Adam and Eve Story. And yeah, pretty much it has nothing to do with the Adam and Eve that you're thinking about. It was written by a guy, Chan Thomas, who is one of the most renowned researchers on cataclysms at that point in time. So the book was written, I don't know, sometimes during the 1930s. And the CIA classified this book. It was about cataclysms, and it was declassified only recently through the FOIA Act. So again, the people, who pressured some governmental organizations to declassify some of the stuff. And what we read in this book, fortunately, I have the untampered version, because the CIA only left some parts of the book. So I'm just gonna read to you the first few excerpts from the book. So it says like this: with a rumble so low as to be inaudible, growing, throbbing, then foaming into the thundering roar, the earthquake starts. Only it's not like any earthquake in recorded history. In California, the mountains shake like ferns in a breeze. The mighty Pacific rears back and piles up into a mountain of seawater more than 2 miles high, then starts its race eastward. With the force of 1,000 armies, the wind attacks, ripping, shredding everything in its supersonic bombardment. The unbelievable mountain of Pacific seawater follows the wind eastwards, burying LA and San Francisco as if they were but grains of sand. So this guy is talking about a sudden event, that's taking place, supersonic winds, earthquakes, like powerful earthquakes that generate tsunamis, that wipe out, as he says, LA and San Francisco. Nothing stops the relentless, overwhelming onslaught of wind and ocean. So, of course, there's more to it. I have only a few brief excerpts. This one says, in a fraction of a day, all vestiges of civilization are gone. And the great cities, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Dallas, New York, Boston, are nothing but legends. Barely a stone is left where millions walked just a few hours before. So they're talking about the entire wipeout of of North America, at least the cities who are on the coastline. And we know that over 70% of the population lies on the coastline. So it'd be really if this cataclysm is really real and it happens cyclically, it's going to be a massive tragedy for the people. Here in the book is described how people are running for the mountains, how new land emerges where once, like where now it's water, where now it's the ocean, the land, new land emerges, like it happened with Hawaii. That's the youngest land on Earth. So after 7 days, it stops. On the 7th day, the horrendous rampage is over. The Arctic ice age is ended, and the new Stone Age begins. The oceans, the great homogenizers have laid down another deep layer of mud over the existing strata in the Great Plains, as exposed in the Great Canyon, Painted Desert, Monument Valley, and the Badlands. So this says that after 7 days, our civilization is wiped. There are people who survived, going to the mountains. He points out that evidence that we already have in the Grand Canyon, in the Painted Desert, Monument Valley, the Badlands, and I would add places like Sahara. Sahara is nothing more but a desert, but there are traces of a huge body of water that crossed through Sahara. And we have evidence, like, not looking tens of thousands of years or speculative stuff like this, but if we look like 2,000 years ago, we had there a different climate, at the edges of the Sahara. We had different kind of animals that would only survive in a Mediterranean climate and this stuff. So those changes are occurring periodically, and the powers that be, they know about this. Otherwise, why would they classify this book for so many years, for so many decades? And I only read some excerpts from it, but it's really, it's an insightful book. It also correlates the myths of the Sumerians. They have their own Noah, the own legend of Noah. But without further ado about this, scientists today admit that a massive disaster, a massive natural cataclysm might occur on Earth, and we're not going to be prepared for this. Only the wealthy, the elites, the powers that be, they are preparing for this. They will have the resources to survive such a cataclysm. And at any rate, before this time comes, like the guy, like Chan Thomas, he says he'll give us another 200 to 500 years, for this to occur. So before this, another series of cataclysms will take place. As the forum says, those events are intensifying, and because of this, we as people, we have to stand prepared. If we look at Agenda 2030, the people in charge, they want to create a dependency on them. They want to make the people, especially the new generations, be dependent on them, on their resources. They want us to own nothing, and to come to them to beg for food, for shelter, for help. So this is what the agenda of the elites does. It divides us, and they want to manage us. They want to manage us. So this is really important, because we divided are weak, but we as a community, together as people, we are strong, and we can take the power back. And this initiative of the creative society to come forth and change the constitution and change the mindset of people, and to offer them, useful information of how to act during cataclysms that, according to the data, to the scientists, they are going to intensify over the years. And we can see this, like in my country, in Romania, I learned about tornadoes only from the American movies, from the Wizard of Oz and this stuff. I thought it's a phenomenon happening only there. And in the past 2 years, we had 3 big tornadoes here in Romania. I would never dreamed of this. And I also talked to another correspondent of the Creative Society who told me that in the Czech Republic, the same phenomenon occurred. So there was this big tornado. So the changes are real, they're happening, and people need to be informed. They need to have a backup plan, an emergency plan in case this occurs, what they can do, and how we can help each other. Of course, like the scope of the Creative Society, it's really it's a really noble one, but it's not going to help just everybody who watches this, but it's going to impact a percentage of people. A percentage of minds will become aware and will take action in the face of imminent danger. So this is why I find the Creative Society and this initiative to be critical, and very provoking, but at the same time, it can do tremendous good. So this is what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Razvan, for your very detailed explanation of what is happening, and more precisely on this cyclicity of events that are increasing cataclysm. We haven't heard you speaking about CO2 emission and how bad it is for the planet. And I think we all know why from the forum, that the anthropogenic factor is not really the key here, and it's not what the society should focus on as the consumer format of society wants us to believe.
Sorry, I'm glad you brought this, because I totally forgot to mention about it. I want to leave some important facts regarding the CO2. So the fact that the powers that be are trying to tax us for the CO2, put the blame on us people, while they're traveling all over in their private jets, in their private yachts, so they're preaching about pollution, and they're flying the private jets. I know they're meeting, and there are like thousands of private jets where these leaders are reaching. So the thing is, we have data that during the time of the dinosaurs, so millions of years ago, the amount of CO2 on Earth was five times greater than it is today, with all the pollution that we humans create, and the world was still stable. So back then, with dinosaurs, there was increased volcanism, and also the dinosaurs who were, just burning the food, they were releasing tons of CO2, and the Earth was still standing. So it was another, natural disaster that destroyed it, but not related to pollution, not related to CO2. So pretty much the facts are saying otherwise, and also the leaders. There's this saying. Maybe you know of it as well. It's about priests. It says, "Don't do what the priest says, not what the priest does." So this, I think, it's also very relevant for people in politics. Don't do what politicians do. Do what politicians say. Because they're always wrapping up everything, to look beautiful and nice, so that people can trust them, but they're doing the complete opposite. So, this is what I wanted to.
Indeed, thank you, and thank you for adding indeed on this on the topic. I mean, all of this information that you mentioned that we've seen in the forum is really here once again to help people understanding the situation on their own, and they don't have to be told anything. It makes sense, and it's because it's based on fact, and that's very important to raise that. You also raised that creative society, after all, is the only way we can move forward. All of those cataclysm currently happening, that is not due to our fault. It's not because we're going to stop driving our cars that we're not going to have earthquake. It's not because we are taking a plane to go on holidays that the glaciers are melting from the bottom up. All of this is not due to us, but the answer to that situation is due to us. It's our unification, unifying the potential, the scientist potential of the entire Earth, that will be able to actually find answers to solve the issue of this cycle that is ending with those cataclysms. So it's very important to once again spread that information, spread the real information, spread the truth, the single truth that there is regarding into the situation in which we are, so we can actually do something about it together. In this idea of spreading the information, I wanted to ask another question to you, Tatyana. What would be your message to actually the people who are still hesitating to join and to participating in spreading the information about the creative society? Maybe they watch the forum, but they still don't feel that it's up to them to do anything. What would be your message to them?
To believe in ourselves, this is really, because as you were saying before, that people can do whatever they want. So if person believe in himself, herself, so people can really do stuff. People can really change this world. And, my message for people that all that we have, all the situation that we have right now, it is all created by us, by people. And I'm 200% sure, even more than 100% sure that we can change all this by ourselves. We can change, and also I would like to say that, we have to take responsibility to ourselves. We have to take responsibility to our actions, not sitting in the couch and saying, okay, this project is like this, those people are doing this, or I don't know, criticizing, or I don't know, some comments or something. Just get up and do. Just join us and learn what is the Creative Society project, what we are proposing. We are not just talking. We are, we are giving the solutions. The Creative Society project. It's not. I don't know, it's not just videos, it is not, conference only, the information is open for everyone. And it is, if you go to the Creative Society website, you will find out, just step by step how to achieve the Creative Society project, how to achieve the conditions, which will make us all healthy, happy, wealthy, all those stuff that we are dreaming, all our life. And people before us were dreaming about this, and all this is possible for us. And we can all achieve this by uniting. I'm asking and inviting everyone to unite, to learn more about Creative Society, and you will be very surprised that how easily we can do this, how easily we can come and, to be happy. That I am again saying and repeating that everyone is dreaming about this, and it is very easy. I didn't know about all this just, 5 years ago. I didn't know. And when I when I joined the Creative Society project, step by step, I started learning more and more and more, and I find out that it is very easy. Just we need to unite. Thank you so much.
Yes, Tatyana, it's exactly as you were saying. And not only like that, we're constantly facing other people's telling us, oh, and how many of you are there? We're going to join later on when it is. Guys, it might not be that there will be a later on. So, as you said, we have to act now and we have to unite. Ali, what would be your message to these people that are still hesitating and thinking that maybe later, maybe it's not just time for us to join? What would be your message to them?
Thank you for your question. My message is for the people that join with Creative Society and give information and try to do something for your world. And when we join with Creative Society, we'll find or know more information about our life. And in Creative Society, we can share our voice and show for the world that what's happening and what's the problem of us and what's the problem of a country. Such problem right now, Ukraine doesn't have good situation, and they can share this problem in Creative Society. Such in Afghanistan also is not good situation. Also, Afghanistan can share their voice in the Creative Society. But in another side that we can say, if we share our voice, that no one will hear to that, and no one will pay attention to that. But in Creative Society, as I see and as I saw that all the people are trying to do something for their world because they know about Creative Society, that as she said, Creative Society is not just for videos or for doing some action, that's for our life, and that we can do anything that we want and we can share our voice with the world. And when I see the side of Creative Society, that in Creative Society we can have the difference. We should not say that he is like that and the conference is like this, that person is like that, that country acting like this. Just we should know, and we should be united, and we can share anything that we want. Such most of the people are trying to say for us about their share their voice, or sending video in sharing in Facebook or in TikTok, Twitter. We can say they are sharing, but no one will pay attention to that. But in creative society, site of creative society is the largest site in Google or anywhere. We can say that the people are trying to listen to that, and or most of the people are trying to join with us, and anyone want to join with us, welcome. And I want to say that creative society can do something, do anything that we want, we can do. But in another place that we share our voice or we share our videos that about our problem, no one will pay attention. But in creative society, as we know, all the people will come together, all together can do make a best world and best world for our life, for us. And not saying about I don't want to say just about I can do or you can do. I want to say we can do, and we can make the biggest world, and we can make a great world or better world for us or for anyone that they want. And thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for your answer. Very motivated answer on the fact that anybody can do something if you have the willingness to start somewhere.
Yes.
And creative society is definitely the place to be, to start acting and have an impact on our future, not just our future, not just my future, not just my family future, but the civilization future. Thank you very much for your answer. In this idea also of spreading the information, having people doing something, but the information is actually the stage in which we are at the moment regarding the creation of the creative society, spreading the information as many people as we can. That is the simple first step into the creation. So maybe my question to Hazman, I know that you're present on social media, you have a kind of an audience over there. What would be your best way, or what would be the best way for you to actually share that information, to make sure you can bring people together and united towards the same goal?
Yeah, well, definitely having an audience on social media can help. So in this regards, I'm more than happy to be sharing this information via Instagram, via Facebook, and also via Twitter. And I can do it in a way that, first of all turns people's attention on, and then making them aware of what is happening. And of course, I think the best way to share this information is by word of mouth. Just like the more people become aware of the situation, of the problems and the solutions, they can just go and personally talk to other people, like their relatives or their friends, and this way a lot of people can learn about the creative society. So I guess the content should be adjusted for every social media platform, because somebody on TikTok or on Instagram will never watch the forum that's 11 hours. That's content for YouTube. So if we just transform each and every one, if we can transform the content for the needs of every social platform, I think this would create a really good impact. And there are so many social medias that we can share this information. So once it reaches people, I think the word of mouth would be the decisive factor. And other than this, I think a lot of people will become aware of the creative society once it reaches phase 3, where we like planning on creating referendums, in the country. So this means tapping into politics and making the the politicians aware. I think this is going to be the mass social distribution of information regarding this cause that exists. So until then, if we're acting together, and if we're either sharing across social or just talking to our friends and our relatives, we're gonna have an impact, with creating awareness at this point.
Thank you, Rosman. Yes, I totally agree with you that right now we are building a foundation for the structure of the creative society, and we have to inform everybody, because every 8 million people, because if we fail in that, then the structure will fall down even before it's finished. So that's why the informing is very important. So thank you, dear guests, for your inspiring contribution to spread this vital information to all. Dear viewers, if you still wonder how to act, if raising these topics don't make you indifferent, you can also join by going to either sending us an email at info@creativesociety.com or going to the webpage creativesociety.com and looking for the content there and clicking that you would like to join. I would like to now pass the word to Jonathan as well.
Well, I also wanted to really thank those guests that we had today. Thank you very much for your courage to raise that information that, as we all know, is not well distributed, is most likely censored, and it takes a lot of courage to actually being able to voice that information. This information is vital. It saves lives. It saves life of people, but it will save life of the civilization altogether in the near future if we can put in place this creative society. And I will say that it's not an if, it will be, because I'm very confident that with the people that we can see on this panel today and the motivation that we have, there is no other option than success on this journey. So thank you very much once again to our dear guest. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you, Robert, for this international discussion today. And we are really looking forward to see you all, dear viewers, into our next international discussion coming very soon on the Creative Society channel. Thank you very much.